Hello and a very warm welcome. Chinese Grand Prix. I've got another F1 video and this will probably turn into a rant. I was up at 3 a.m. to watch practice this morning and basically it was non-existent. Practice 1, practice 2 adds up to 3 hours altogether. You have an hour and a half, that equals 3 hours. We've seen about 20 minutes of running in 2 practice sessions. Not good enough. Bollocks. And F1 wonders why fans get pissed off. They wonder why their views are dropping. I mean, I love the sport. I'll continue to get up at stupid o'clock. But when I get up at 3 a.m. and I see 20 minutes of running, come on! Basically, the simple rule, all they have to do is say, drivers must do a minimum of 30 laps. Practice 1, you have to do 30 laps. Practice 2, you have to do 30 laps. No matter who you are, whether you're Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Vettel, you've got to do a minimum of 30 laps in practice sessions. And that'll be sorted. Give him an engine for practice and that can be done. Basically, practice 1 and 2 were a joke today. Pointless. Bollocks. Not good enough. As an F1 fan, I want to be entertained. I don't want to see 20 cars sat in the garage. I want to see them out on track. We've got a nice track at China. We've got 20 cars in the garage. We can't go out. The track's perfect. The cars are perfect, but we can't go out because a helicopter can't get to the hospital. The chances of a driver needing to go... I mean, what are the chances of a driver having such a bad crash in practice that they would need to go to hospital? Let's be honest. It's not... I mean... But safety comes first. It's infuriating as an F1 fan. Especially when you get up in the middle of the night to watch the sport that we all love. Yet, because a helicopter can't get to the hospital in 20 minutes... And it's foggy, smog, misty... We can't do out. And I will. No, I don't have a hat, but I would take it off. Lewis Hamilton, he gets slated and slated and slated. I'm not even being biased here. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, but congratulations. What he did today in practice 2 was fantastic. Basically, he got 30 Mercedes caps, signed them himself, and chucked them in the crowd. That's fantastic. Every Chinese fan, not even Chinese fans, every fan who went through the gates today for practice 1 and practice 2 should be refunded because they saw 20 minutes of action and the rest, they were just sat in the crowd. Basically, our entertainment in practice today was the crowd. You seen Sebastian Vettel fans, they had a German like V, E, T, T, E, and they were missing the L. And Vettel was in his car going, like, joking around, saying you need the L. They put an E up, so it was Vetty, and then they finally found the L. And that was about the most entertainment we've had today. I mean, you say it how it is. Everyone's entitled to opinion. This is my opinion. Some people may like it, some people may not, but I've always been that way. Say it how it is or bugger off, because you gotta say it how it is. It's 2017. We don't live in 1967 anymore. F1's too safe these days. It's just too safe. I mean, come on. What are the chances? I mean, I know you can't take the risks. I'm probably just infuriating. But I am infuriated, but basically, what are the chances? Say, for example, I don't know, Antonio Giovinazzi has a huge shunt. He needs to go to a hospital, and he can't go to a hospital because the medical helicopter can't get to the hospital in 20 minutes, basically. And they can't go by a road because they wouldn't shut the roads. But it's just not good enough as a spectacle. Liberty, I mean, they've done good things so far in F1, but today it was a disgrace, it was a shambles, it was comical to F1. And basically, F1, it will be getting slated today because it was embarrassing. 3 hours of practice sessions and we saw 20 minutes of running. Not good enough. It's unacceptable. I mean, Sky F1, I watch it on Sky F1. I pay a good amount of money to have it because I can't watch the highlights. I have to watch it live. So I have Sky in, but it's just bollocks when that happens. You're paying to watch F1 on the TV. I mean, fair enough, I was watching F1, but I want to see the cars on the track. I don't want to see the presenters talking for 4 hours. I want to see the cars on the track. I want to see these amazing drivers doing what they do best. But basically, we have the Chinese track for 3 hours. We didn't see, well, we saw, basically, they went out on intermediates in practice. Practice 2 was bollocks. We didn't see any cars on track. At least in practice 1, we actually saw them for 20 minutes. I mean, but people struggling. You see Magnussen go off in the Haas, Grosjean go off in the Haas, Sainz goes off in this Toro Rosso. Hulkenberg, he comes round the first turn, round a little semicircle, and has what is probably, it must feel like the worst spin ever, because he was going so slow, yet he got beached in the gravel. Pretty embarrassing, but just not good enough today as a spectacle. F1 fans need to say their piece. This is just my opinion. Some people will agree, some people won't agree. That is part of life, but as an F1 fan, not good enough. Not good enough. I mean, I suppose if it was at 12 o'clock in the day, I wouldn't be as mad. But when I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch practice 1 and you see 20 minutes, and they should do that. You mark my words. Just make them do 30 laps minimum. You have to do 30 laps every practice session. People who are watching practice, people who are going in the grandstands, they want to see cars on the track, not sat in the garage. It's very frustrating. I mean, you've got the viewing public behind the TV, you've got paying fans in the grandstand. We want to see cars on track. We don't want to see them sat in the garage, playing on the phones, talking to their engineers. Get out on the track. If you made that rule where they had to do 30 laps minimum, they would have to go out there. Even if they were going round doing really slow laps, at least they're out there. I would rather see that than them sat in the garage. But my driver, he did us proud today. He got out there, signed some caps, threw them into the crowd. It was fantastic. They're sat there, they're bored, they're trying to make entertainment through themselves, but it was great to see. Signed Mercedes caps, he chucks them in the crowd. It was excellent. But they'll probably still slate him. Oh, he shouldn't be on the track during the practice session. Oh, he was on his phone on the track. They probably won't say good stuff about it. That him, out of all 20 drivers, he was the only one driver who went to the fans, signed some merchandise and chucked it in the crowd. But we'll just see. This has been a bit of a rant. I love F1. Don't get me wrong. I love the sport. But come on, we want to see the cars on the track. Probably couldn't be helped today because of the fog, the smog, whatever you want to call it. The medical helicopter couldn't fly. Basically, it could fly, but wouldn't have been able to get to downtown Shanghai where the hospital was. Basically, the TV helicopter was up, but the problem wasn't at the circuit. It was at the hospital. I think the airport was closed, and the problem was at the hospital. But as a skeptical, not good enough. They should be looking at this because it's not good enough. We've had 2 practice sessions today, and we've seen 20 minutes of running. It's not good enough. It's embarrassing. I want to see the sport at its best. F1 should be the best sport, motorsport. It should be. It should be the pinnacle. We want to see these drivers on the limit, on the track, doing what they do best. But today, it was an embarrassment. It was a shambles and it was a disgrace. It's not good enough. And that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. What time did you have to get up to watch practice 1? Let me know. I think we'll leave it there. 10 minutes ranting. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do a qualifying video for you and a race video. Practice 3 tomorrow, qualifying. Hopefully we'll have a dry session and no fog and smog, and we can get on with it. What we love best, seeing the cars out on the track. Thanks for watching. Adios. I'll see you next time.